exciting design moments. Come join me as I have exclusive interviews with our awesome clients, highlighting their businesses and the incredible work we've done together. Hi Rachel, thank you so much for joining us today. Today I am blessed to have Rachel joining me. She's from Master Dyslexia, and Rachel engaged with us a few weeks ago now, and we love to hero our clients and let them tell us a bit about their business and also their experience that they have with Dzign Studio. So how are you, Rachel? Thank you for joining me.
I'm really well, thanks, Michelle. Thanks for scheduling this at a good time for both of us. Yes, I met you, Michelle, through a webinar that I attended through a colleague of mine here in New Zealand, 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸𝐸 from the 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐸𝐸. I work in the education field. I'm a dyslexia facilitator, which means that I work with people who have challenges with reading, writing, maths, comprehension, but also in the space of ADHD and attention and focus issues. And what I was looking for was really a coherent brand. You know, I launched my business back in 2020, right at the beginning of what we couldn't quite see was the pandemic back then. And really I had pieced together many aspects of my business, and that was kind of reflected, I guess, in the branding on my website and on my other social media platforms. And so it's been really great to actually come back to, I guess, the essence of my brand, which is about creativity and fun and learning and the joy of learning, really. That's embodied in, I guess, the key logo, which has actually been taken from a piece of work that one of my early clients did. So I've kind of brought that liveliness back, I think, to the branding, but with a bit more of a twist. And then I guess having that consistency across the different platforms has really made a difference, so that wherever people come across either me or Master Dyslexia, they're seeing that same sort of consistent messaging through the graphics as well as, you know, what I say. So it feels really good to have done that, and now I'm just seeing lots of places, you know, around my business where I, you know, need to update my logo and things, like on letterhead and, you know, different things like that. But it's been a good journey, and the thing that was been interesting for me is every platform's got its own quirks, you know, and so finding the right banner format for LinkedIn business versus personal and Facebook, and that it's been interesting kind of tweaking all of that. And so what I've appreciated is your consistent support in doing that. I'm not a terribly tech person, and it's had its frustrations, but you know, getting these things right now means that going forward, I feel that I'm representing myself well out there in the world. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that's exactly what we do. We want you to feel great about your business, and I was so excited about the logo and the little character that we were able to use, because it's so unique. I'd never worked with anything like that before. You know, generally when we have a logo or a graphic we're working with, it's generally just a typical looking logo, but this little guy, he is so cute. And when you presented what you had to me, and we just wanted to hero the whole you know, aspect of what you do, which is an amazing service. I just love what you have available to people out there. And,
yeah, well, I think, sorry, I cut across you.
No, that's okay.
I think for the people listening to this, for them to understand, like, I work with the Davis method, which is really privileging visual, spatial, kinesthetic learners. So we work with plastilina clay, which is a form of modelling clay as a medium of learning. And so clients work with making models of letters and words, but also, importantly, images that represent the meaning of those words. And so the little logo that features in my broader logo is a piece of that clay work. And I think what working with you has helped me do is to start to feature my clients' work more in not just in the logos and branding, but also in my posts. So I've been actively saying to my clients as I'm reconnecting with them after the holidays, you know, I love either your work or your child's work. Could I have permission to, you know, use it and feature it in my posts and things? And it's interesting. I get a lot of feedback from people about, I guess, the creativity and the joy that is expressed in the work of my clients. And it's nice to kind of feature them, even though it's sort of incognito for them, but it still gets their work out in the world a little bit, and a little bit of kudos for what they're doing as well.
Yeah, it really shows that achievement, doesn't it? And the Davis method is just such a unique method that I wasn't aware of until I engaged with you, and I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, I think it's one of our big challenges is that whilst we are the number of facilitators, we probably have the largest number of dyslexia facilitators in the world, but it's not yet become a household brand, and it is one of the commitments of the Davis organisation to achieve that. And clearly branding and all of what goes into branding is a big part of that, and that is one of their key areas of focus this year from their conference last year. So we'll be doing more in that space, but I just feel, you know, my business is well branded, and really I think that's the biggest thing for me. The learning out of this is that you can have 1,000 words, but one image can really communicate more to people than a whole lot of words. And I'm kind of a words person, and so I'm learning that process of communicating more powerfully with images, and sort of scaling back on words, because a lot of people don't have the time to read much anymore, sadly. But it is the way of the world, so it's like adapting to that and finding impactful ways and more emotional ways, I think, of communicating the value of something through images.
Yeah, that's right. It's about getting the message out there as simple as possible, and when they see a colour or when they see an image, they know that's you, and they know, you know, they can, you know, understand, oh, that's Rachel, that's Master Dyslexia, you know. And they then take notice. I know my logo, I've got an eye on my on a bit of my branding, and that eye, it's quite creepy at times, but it when people see that, they know, oh, that's Michelle, you know, that's what she's posted, sort of thing. So it's about, it is about brand recognition and about getting that right look, and we certainly do, that's what we do. We like to hero your business in your unique way, and it's good. I'm so glad that that's what result has come about. I've got to share the little guy so everyone knows what we're talking about here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to just share it on my screen so that you can have a look at this, because he's just so cute. And let me just bring that up.
And the interesting thing is with the clay work, it really does, people's personality comes through in it. So, in the centre of the logo here, the little character was created by a 10-year-old client of mine. He was one of my very early clients, and he got through life, probably still does a little bit, through a lot of personality and humour, and he actually had a couple of things going on when I met him. He was dyslexic. Well, really, he had more ADHD, but it was getting in the way of his learning. So he's having difficulty with his learning, but it was really more a function of his ADHD. But he also had a little-known condition called Dyspraxia, which we call the clumsy version of dyslexia. And he would literally fall down in a pile of giggles anytime he was asked to do anything very physical, you know, like running or catching a ball or anything. So he was really feeling very locked out of his sporting activities at school and engaging with his peers, because he was just this bumbling barrel of laughs, really. But it upset and frustrated a lot of people, including himself. And his little model of himself made out of clay really communicates that humour that he used well in many ways, but often as a masking mechanism for his embarrassment for being such a clumsy kid. But out of the work we did together, he's really been able to learn to control his coordination and balance, and he now is a BMX champ in his school and is really flourishing as a young person, because he can control where his body is in time and space, and he's learnt to focus in school, so he's not getting in trouble as the so-called disruptive kid in class. He's able to focus and do well. So it's wonderful, to see young people like that. He's now at high school and he's thriving and really into his arts and music, and he's a DJ, and it's just beautiful to hear from his family.
That's a beautiful outcome. Beautiful outcome. And like, working with, you not only work with young people, you do work with adults as well, and just listening to what you're saying about humour, using humour to mask, I sort of think to myself, goodness me, that's what I do that a little bit myself.
Yeah,
I guess we all do.
I think we all do, right? We use humour in different ways to kind of sort of navigate awkward situations, right? But a lot of people who have who are neurodiverse, humour is often a way to mediate those awkward situations, to get out of having to read aloud or write on a whiteboard, or where all of those situations can reveal your potential weaknesses in those areas. And then for those of us, and I count myself in that, who've had to deal with dyspraxia, humour's a great way to overcome having just fallen flat on your face, or bumped into a corner of the kitchen bench that wasn't there 2 minutes ago. So there's I think humour is quite a common trait. Also probably a bit of self-deprecating humour as well. It's like if you get in first with a bit of a cut at yourself, then it avoids other people pointing out what are perceived as weaknesses. But I think the thing that I find in working with people of all ages in this work is the amazing talent that often sits just below the surface of these difficulties. So there's not a client that I haven't worked with who hasn't got an amazingly creative brain. And when we unlock their capacity to read and comprehend and write, the stuff that comes out. I worked with a man who, very, very hardworking, worked in the print industry because it was graphic rather than text-based, like he loved working with the colours and everything. And he was tutoring, so he worked in a situation where he was tutoring people in a print area, print training environment, and he had to write notes about all of his students, and he was limited to writing 1 or 2 sentences because he said, I could never find the spelling of the words I wanted to say, so I just use more simplified language. But he said once he completed the dyslexia correction program with me, he said all these words that had always been in his head were now available to him to use in his reports. And so now he writes pages and pages about his students.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just such a transformation in his ability to communicate what was already in there in amazing form, but could never get out onto paper or print.
That's an amazing story, Rachel. Thank you for sharing that with me. There must be so many people that don't realise they've got this going on. But look, there's the little guy.
Yes.
And here he is. And, to tell those stories, it really does highlight what we don't know and how simple it can be fixed, And,
yes.
And for people, that are listening to this, interview, this is why we're doing what we're doing. We want people to hero their businesses and get the opportunity to tell us a bit about you, okay? And I'm so grateful for your time today, Rachel. Look, if anyone's out there that needs help and can understand what Rachel's just shared with us, check it out. Go to her Facebook page, go to her LinkedIn page. Master Dyslexia is the absolute ultimate in getting your little problems sorted, by the sound of it to me.
Yeah.
And look, thanks again, Rachel. I really appreciate you engaging with Dzign Studio, and you know, there's obviously we'll work together even more. I'm sure there's lots on the horizon. So
there
really
is a lot on the horizon, Michelle. Trust me. We're just getting
I'm
going.
very excited to have those conversations with you. So thanks everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Rachel. And look, don't forget, reach out to Rachel. We'll have the link in the bio, and we look forward to hearing Rachel getting those connections. Thanks everyone. Bye for now.
Thanks. Bye.